Hey everyone, welcome to Daily Relations. Thanks for joining me and for coming on this journey. We are going to dive into something today that I think we all struggle with because of the mindset of the world that we live in. And it's this pursuit of perfection. And how do I make myself better? Or how do I continue striving and yet live a godly life and include God into that process, but yet how do I make sense of what I'm supposed to do and what God's supposed to do? And I was reading in both Leviticus 25 and in Hebrews 9. And the way God meshed those two lessons together was really cool because I often find myself holding on and gripping on to things and wondering, why am I doing this? And these two chapters together kind of revealed something to me anyways, and that's what I'm going to share with you today. So in Leviticus 25, it's kind of an odd chapter if you don't understand all of Leviticus, but I'm going to paraphrase it for you. So basically what they go through is they talk about the Sabbath rest, and that, we know about the Sabbath in a weekly process, but God also put a command that every 7 years the land was to rest and nothing was to be planted or grown, and what the people were to eat that year, as well as the following year while they were planting, was what came off the land naturally, and that God would provide. And then every 50 years, so 7 times 7, those years ago, there would be another year called the year of Jubilee, where everything would be returned and restored to the way that it started out. What a perfect picture of God's work to redeem and restore. And as I started writing down those words, redemption, restoration, perfection. Perfection is not in there except when God gets involved. Because in Hebrews 9, it says that the covenant that God made with Israel in the Mosaic covenant, it was not perfected until Jesus came and installed the heavenly version of what the Mosaic covenant represented on earth. So now I look at it from my own perspective. And how does that apply to my life? Do I continue to try to grab hold of things and not allow those restoration times for God to restore? Or am I being greedy and saying, I need more of this, I need more resources here, and I'm not going to trust that God's going to give me what I need, so I'm going to work and work and work towards that perfection, towards what I think should be in this place. And that's exactly against what God tells us to do by living in faith and trust in Him. If we are to truly believe that He has a plan and that we are workers and helpmates of His in this plan, and that one day He will perfect everything that He calls us to do here, then we need to make time to not only do within the sphere of what we've been given, and not be greedy and not look beyond our borders of what we can monopolize or use that as of someone else's. And that's a lot of what Leviticus 25 gets into, is releasing people that are indentured to you, releasing the land that had been given to you as debt payment, and letting it go, because God was going to make that all better in the end and restore it. And it wasn't yours in the first place. It was yours to use whatever you had been given to do what He had asked you to do. Nothing more, nothing less. And that your work, no matter how crazy or mixed up it seems, that we aren't doing everything that should be done to make whatever we're doing perfect, it doesn't matter, because in the end, God will perfect that, and He will work it out to be perfect in His eternal reality, His creation after creation. So anyways, it's something to think about. I need to focus, instead of thinking, I need to perfect this, I need to make this better, and I don't have enough. Instead, I need to think, how has God called me to restore and to release, to use what I've been given, but nothing more, nothing less, and trust that He's going to do the rest of the work when it's time, and with the resources that He's going to provide. And so there's where we're left. Do we pursue perfection and tell God that His plan isn't good? Or do we pursue restoration and say, God will restore. He is the one I trust. And no matter what today may bring, what resources I am given, what resources I am not allowed to have, that in the end, it will all turn out perfect by Him, not me. I am just the one has to release and allow God to do that work, to restore and to make things right in this world, the sinful world that we live in, that is not going to be perfected until He comes again, which is the final end of His promises and His covenant with us, to restore a world where He is King. And we all look forward to that. But doing our part means to just do our part with what we've been given, and no more or no less. So anyways, thanks for joining me today on Daily Revelations, and I will see you all again tomorrow. Bye, everybody.